yesteryear. Now we're going to go into historic territory over here. We're going to concentrate on a few of the highlights of famous bibliographer. His name was Moshe David Gaon. He happened to be a famous historian, Oriental studies, and we've actually explored some of the highlights of some of the, let's say, interesting personalities that were historians within regards to Sephardic and Oriental Jewry, respectively, of yesteryear. So we're going to concentrate on him in today's tidbit over here. Moshe David Gaon. Now, it's interesting. He was, I believe, born in September in the year 1889, and he passed away on the 8th of October in 1958. I'm not too sure the exact Hebrew date of this, but he was a historian and a person we've spoken about, I believe, before inside this series over here. So let's explore a few of the highlights of the man's life over here. So he was a Bosnian Jewish historian. He would go on to become a scholar of the Sephardic world. That's what we're concentrating on. We are online encyclopedia trying to explore some of the life of some of the famous, let's say, Sephardic figures, the rabbis, let's say, for example, and personalities that shaped the Sephardic world. He would become an educator, a bibliographer. He was a journalist and a poet, and he was one of the pioneers of Ladino culture in Israel. He was the father of businessman Benny Gaon and Yehoram Gaon. And he was born in Travnik in Bosnia-Herzegovina. He passed away in Jerusalem and be buried in Har HaMenuchot over there. Now, being born in Travnik, it was then under the Austro-Hungarian administration, obviously now known as Bosnia and Herzegovina, and he was born to a Chacham, Rav David Gaon, and his mother's name was Rabbanit Rivka Gaon. They were famous people of their specific point in time. And we mentioned other people from the Gaon family. I think they were Sephardic Jews. He was a sage of the Porat Yosef Yeshiva, it's Bastion of Sephardic Yeshivot, let's just say, in Israel, respectively. So he happened to have been a sage over there, I believe his father, and the famous Yeshivat Bet El, another place we've spoken about before. Both these Yeshivot are based, I believe, in the old city of Jerusalem. These places are, and they're places, let's just say, probably the most famous of the Sephardic yeshivot of that specific day. So let's just explore a few more with regards to them. So I think the family actually descended from the Spanish expulsion back in the year 1492, and they would go on to move to the Balkan region. They would, following obviously the Inquisition. In his youth, he would study at various different Talmudic places, Torah studying places, and public schools. I think when he would turn 18 years of age, now Mr. Gaon would go to Vienna in Austria, intending to continue, let's say, his studies, but would end up joining an academic association with other Balkan immigrants at that stage in time. So he'd be in, let's just say, the latter part of his teenage years, and when he would actually go on to do this. And I think near the end of the First World War, he would emigrate to Israel, serving 1 year in the Ottoman army in Beersheba. And later he would study at Ezra Teachings Seminary. I'm not sure much information about that. That'll be quite interesting to know. At the outbreak of the war, another war, he would join, let's say, and complete studies at the seminar Beit HaKerem. Remember, this was under the guidance of David Yellen. I think actually this institution, academic institution, is actually near the famous Chappelle's Yeshiva Darkei Noah, a place we visited on this channel, I believe, before, not so long ago. So I recommend everyone to check that video out on the website. So we'd actually go there. I think it was under the guidance of David Yellen. And in 1921, he would visit the newly formed Yugoslavia and return to Jerusalem with his parents. He would become a director of a Talmud Torah in Izmir. But at that point in time in Izmir in Turkey, it was beginning to become quieter among the Jewish community, and he would publish a Hebrew language magazine called the Hevranu to help students learn over there. As time goes on, in subsequent years, he would hold various positions in offices in Zionistic movements, including, I believe, managements in Jerusalem. He was one of the members of the Hapoel Hatzer party until its merger with Yahadot Ha'avodah in the year 1930. We're talking about 95 years ago, where it would be merging into that party. Now, for several years, he would serve as a reporter for a number of international Ladino newspapers, including, I think, the number 2 Avenir, the La Lepkoko in Saloniki, the Hashofar in Plovdiv, the number 2 Judeo in Constantinople, and later in his career he would write articles for Harut. Now, Mr. Gaon was the first teacher of the children of the Motzah. The classroom was located in Old Motzah synagogue. He would spend time in Motzah during the week for teaching and return, I think, be in Jerusalem for Shabbat. He would teach for 4 years, I think, in this place, respectively, over there. So in 1928, he would go on to travel to Argentina, to Buenos Aires. Remember, he was a very, very well-traveled person. He would help edit the, let's say, Hebrew stage, and he would serve as a teacher in the Moroccan Jewish community school in the city. He would return the following year to Israel and was invited to serve as a general secretary of the Sephardic Community Council in Jerusalem. I think he would hold this position until he passed away in the year 1958. Now, Mr. Gaon was one of the activists of the Histadrut HaSfardim, later known as the Sephardim and Oriental communities, and then it was part of the World Sephardi Federation, and he was a member of the board over there. He was known as a Torah scholar and a multidisciplinary. His main discipline, let's say, was the study of Oriental Jewry, which is why we're doing this video really primarily today. So we'd like to explore the history of some of the historians of the Sephardic community and Oriental community. Let's say he had various public studies. He would look at Oriental Jewry in Israel and in the diaspora. He would study the history of the Jews of Spain and the Jews of the East in the land of Israel, past and present. That was, I think, his book, which was in 2 volumes, which was published in the year 1928. He would write various poems in Ladino and collected many Ladino newspapers, writing a bibliography on the Ladino press. From his inclination to study the newspapers of the Orient, he published many bibliographical articles on the subject and collection on the history of, let's say, Palestine press. I think this would be edited by David Yudelewitz and Zalman Pevzner. That's interesting. Okay, to add on more, I think personal life. His wife was Sarah Benjamin Hakim. She was a native of Izmir. I'm not sure there was a rabbinic family called Hakim. I don't know if they were directly connected or not. I think they would have 4 children, including 2 daughters, Kalila and Igat, and 2 sons, Benny Gaon, and I think he was a businessman, and Yehoram Gaon, another, I think, famous person in his field also. He passed away on the 8th of October in the year 1958 and was buried in the Mount of Rest burial plot, Hara Menuchot. And now commemorations was put in his memory, including, I think, a street named after him in the Makor Baruch neighborhood in northwest Jerusalem, place we visited on this channel before, ultra-Orthodox area. His son Benny founded the Moshe David Gaon Center for Ladino Culture in his name at the Ben Gurion University of the Negev, and I think his personal archive is preserved at the National Library of Israel also. Now, his work, which we mentioned about before, was the work of the Oriental Jews in the land of Israel, past and present. I think it was actually printed in Jerusalem through the Azriel Press. Now, his publications was very of most importance, let's just say. I think it was also published in as well as 1928, also 1938. It's a bibliographical historical survey of Ladino press. Let's say a bibliographical dictionary of, according to this, 2,888 rabbis and scholars of the community committee of scholars of notables, especially from Spain, from province of France, Italy, the Ottoman Empire, the Balkans, the Middle East, and North Africa. That was his book primarily. A great majority of these people had visited Eretz Israel, land of Israel, or immigrated to that point. And just talking about, he would explore the life of the various different Jews that would live in Israel, would be part of Israel, will make Aliyah to Israel, and really imprint their name in history. So it was a famous historian, without doubt, over the last couple of hundred years, without doubt. Many other historians have spoken about. Most famously, I think that some of them, Mr. Rosanis, who I've spoken about before. Very important to chronicle, and I thought it's appropriate to do a video, even though I don't know if he was officially a rabbi or not, but he was a historian and someone that was seemingly a Torah educator and a Jewish educator, and someone very important in the Sephardic world. So everyone, please join the community over here. We are nearly on 7,000 subscribers, which is absolutely phenomenal achievement at the moment, and we hope we're growing more and more. If anyone's interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos to other people. Also, if you descend from any people we're speaking about over here, famous personalities, please send me an email. I would love to hear more information. on it. And if you feel anyone's interested in watching these videos, please share these videos to other people. So I'm wishing you all well over here from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. Take care and be well. Thank you for watching.